Let's spend just a little bit more time talking about how we can best email notify folks in our workflow. I've created a small workflow based on a list with 3 different steps in it. We're going to talk about emailing submitters and emailing users and ultimately emailing aliases to users. But let's just start by saying that we want to email the submitter. Somebody has launched a workflow, dropped a form in a library, and we would like to let them know that that form got there. There are a couple of reasons for this. We could let them know on the screen if it was a web form, but often what folks want is proof that they participated in the workflow so that later on they can say, hey, I turned this into you on this date and here's my proof. So it's a good idea to send an email message back. We're going to add an action that says send an email. Email these users, click the hyperlink, and where it says to, we're going to click out here on the address book to open the select users dialog. So user who created the item is really easy to find. Let's go ahead and grab them right here and say OK. The next thing I want to talk to you about is the subject. I want the subject to be understandable. I want it to have a portion that is unique and that is long enough to be able to easily find. And the reason is I'm going to show my users how to create rules to route messages. So if every subject is different, if I simply grab the name of the form, that's not going to work. I need something solid I can build a rule on. So I'm going to click this 3-dot button, that's the builder button here, and it's going to open up the string builder. And this particular email is coming out of a hiring process, so I can use some unique information here. New hire request for example, and then I can add a lookup here. In the current item, we can go grab anything that's unique, like the title. Now, what this will allow me to do in Outlook in a bit is create a rule that looks for the words no hire request. But it also doesn't have every single one of these looking the same. Somebody can actually get some value out of seeing what the title is. And, I don't really need the word for. If you think about it, I could just say new hire request, here's the name of it. And I'm going to say OK. So I want to create really good, strong subjects with some unique piece that refers back to the workflow each and every time. It is not unusual when you first create workflows that you're going to copy somebody and that somebody might be you to make sure that the workflow is actually working. So when I'm first going to do this, I'm probably going to put myself in. But later on, I can remove myself simply by editing this form. And then remember that you have access to every single thing you want here to be able to show somebody what they need to do next. If you have something specific that says, I need you to actually go open this form and look at this particular field, this is the place for those instructions. And remember that the way we're going to take somebody back to that library so easily is we're actually going to include, if it's a list, an absolute URL that will take them right on back to that list every single time. So here's how we're going to send a message to the submitter. Great subject, current item created by, say OK, and there's our very first email.